Hey everyone, welcome back to the new lecture with ISO 9001 2015 edition. In the previous lecture I have explained operation, clause number 8, which is operation, and under this the first subclause, which is operational planning and control. Before starting any process inside the organization, it shall start with planning. And the second subclause, which is requirements for products and service. Requirements for products and service shall be identified well with the customer, and there are 4 subclauses under this clause number 8 too. To identify the requirements for product and the service, the organization shall communicate with the customer, and after that the organization need to ensure that requirements are defined well with the customer, and also the organization is able to deliver this product or service to the customer, whether they have all resources required to deliver this product or service, or they need to have some other resources, but they are able to deliver this product or service to the customer. And then they shall review. Very important to review all requirements for the customer, because requirements for the customer relating to his product or service shall be defined well at the end. And in case of any change in the requirements, also shall be reviewed and recorded. So first point is customer communication. The organization shall communicate with the customer, and this is very important right now, because it helps the organization to improve its quality relating to the product or service provided, and that will lead at the end to the customer satisfaction. And customer satisfaction is the key goal of most companies. So first point is to communicate with the customer. The organization shall communicate with the customer, because this is very important for customer satisfaction. Communication with the customer shall include the following points: providing information relating to product or service provided to him. So you shall collect information from the customer relating to his product or service. Handling inquiries, contracts or orders, including changes, and obtaining customer feedback, including also the complaints. Handling or controlling customer property. Establishing specific requirements for emergency actions. Providing information related to product and service. The organization shall collect all information from the customer about his requirements relating to his product or service, and these requirements shall be defined well, and they shall ensure that they have all resources required to deliver this product or service. And also handling inquiries, contracts or orders, including changes. There should be a defined process. You should prepare a specific procedure for how to sign the contract or handle the contracts with the customer. So there should be a defined process for handling or signing the contracts with the customer, including the following points. First point, defining the requirements. What are the requirements from the customer relating to his product or service? And it shall be defined well, and the organization shall ensure that they can deliver, they are able or have the resources to deliver the product or service to the customer. Who is responsible to sign the contract with the customer? And in case of any change in the requirements, if the customer need to change, to add more requirements relating to his product or service, how they can manage in this case? They shall take approval, they shall approve this from the organization and from the customer itself. And also there shouldn't be any conflict between the requirement of the customer and the regulatory requirements or industrial requirements. And also if there is any change in the contract itself, that also if there is any change from the organization relating to customer contract, they shall take approval from the customer. And how they can manage in these cases? So there should be a specific procedure relating to handling or signing the contract with the customer. Also, obtaining customer feedback relating to his product or service and also including if there is any complaint from the customer relating to his product or service is very important, because it can be an opportunity for improvement. If you find any complaint and you deal with this complaint, you can solve other problems in the future. So it's very important to collect these feedbacks and also complaints from the customer relating to his product or service. The organization shall have a survey or customer feedback form. So you will have to prepare customer feedback form or questionnaire and also customer complaint form. And you shall define in the procedure who is the person responsible to receive these complaints and from the customer, and so this person shall be identified. Another very important point, if the organization use the customer property. As example, if the customer provides them with some of raw materials required for production of his product or some of resources, or if the organization use his facility to do some operation. In this case, this facility shall be controlled by the organization. They shall ensure that all requirements or regulatory and customer and also requirement of this standard are met. And communication with the customer shall include also establishing specific requirements for emergency actions. What are the actions will be taken in case of emergency to avoid adverse effects of unintended use, to eliminate any risk that may affect the product or service quality. And second point, determining requirements for product or service. The organization shall ensure that requirements for product or service are defined well, including if there is any statutory or regulatory requirements, and also those requirements considered by the organization. There should not be any conflict between the customer requirement and the statutory or regulatory requirement or requirements considered by the organization, because customer requirement should not be against the law or standards or organization requirement. Both of them should be combined together to get at the end his product or service in a high quality. So if there is any requirement from the customer against the law or organization requirements, they shall at the end agree together about requirements that will provide him with a high quality for his product or service, but not against the law or their way of work. And that also shall be defined in the contract. And the organization can meet the claims for product and service. So the organization shall define all requirements from the customer and ensure that these requirements not against the law or standards or their requirements, and they shall ensure also that they have the ability and the resources to provide him with the high quality of his product or service. And the third point is to review the requirement for product or service. The organization shall ensure that it has the ability to meet the customer requirement for product or service. They shall ensure that they have the ability and the resources to meet the customer requirement, and also they shall conduct a review. Before supplying the product or service to the customer, they shall conduct a review to ensure that they deliver or give the customer with the product or service with the high quality as he required from the beginning. Including, this review will include requirements specified by the customer, including requirements for delivery and post-delivery activities. All requirements specified by the customer from the beginning have been fulfilled. And output or the product at the end output met the inputs or his requirements not stated by the customer but necessary for the intended use. Very important, because such as safety requirements, sometimes these requirements not stated by the customer, he has no experience about the safety requirements, but the organization has previous projects and they know and they have experience about the safety issues, so they shall also review the safety problems or any requirement not stated by the customer but necessary for the intended use of this product or service. Requirements specified by the organization shall be reviewed. Statutory and regulatory requirement. Statutory, any requirement established by the law, or regulatory, established by the organization or the government, also shall be considered. Any required legislation shall be considered. Contract or ordering requirements differing from those previously expressed or identified. Any requirements from the beginning identified shall meet at the end. All outputs, the output or product or service provided to the customer shall meet the inputs or requirements from the beginning. So all of these requirements shall be defined well from the beginning and shall not be against the law and shall be approved by the customer and by the organization in a contract. And in case of any change detected between the requirements defined in the contract before supplying the product or service to the customer, this change shall be resolved, or if they cannot do anything, they shall agree with the customer if that will not affect on the quality of his product or service. Customer's requirement shall be confirmed by the organization before acceptance. They shall ensure or approve that they can meet his requirements, and they shall retain records for this review or documented information, so they can prepare a specific checklist, customer requirement checklist for each customer before supplying him with the product or service. They will make a review and they will record in this checklist, customer requirements checklist, and the organization shall retain documented information, as I said before, on the results of the review or on any new requirements for product or service. If the customer add more requirements or the organization add more requirements, also they shall retain documented information for all of these requirements. And changes to requirements for product or service, the last point, the organization shall ensure that relevant documented information relevant to these changes amended, and the relevant persons aware of the changes, the customer and the organization aware of the changes, and they accept all of them and approve also in the new contract or amended in the contract, and also when these changes applied or will be applied. How do you apply this clause? First point, you should prepare a specific procedure for customer satisfaction, for measuring customer satisfaction or to enhance the customer satisfaction, but the whole process to satisfy your customer, and the procedure for handling customer complaint, and you should prepare also specific form for customer complaint, customer satisfaction questionnaire form to ask the customer about the product or service provided after he will receive, customer requirement checklist at the beginning to ask him about the requirements, his requirements relating to his product or service. And you can make also survey from users. After you will sell him, you will give him the product and he will distribute or sell to the people. You can make a survey, or he can make a survey, but better to make a survey to know the opinion of people about this product. It will help you also to know that this product satisfy your customer or not. And report for customer satisfaction, this is summary report for management, that will be for management of customer satisfaction. Did you satisfy your customer or not? And the whole report will be introduced to the top management. So customer satisfaction represents a major challenge for all companies, and one approach for meeting this challenge is communicating with the customer through a code of conduct for customer satisfaction. This code of conduct has been explained in ISO 10000 series. This series of standard not used as a certificate but only as a guidance for customer satisfaction, divided into 10001 to 2007 customer satisfaction for codes of conduct of the organization, 10002 to 2004 customer satisfaction complaints handling. Just to know, but this is not our subject. That was the end of our lecture for today. Inshallah, see you in the next lecture.